All right, so go ahead and sit up tall. We have been focusing this week, really like what's happening starting next week is we're going to be isolating each of the 7 chakras. Each week will be a different chakra. And in that, I'm going to connect everything back to the shadow, to the mind-body connection, to looking at the ways in which these narratives live within the body, how we can use the asana practice to help to target that congested energy and then to release it, discharge it, and be in a process of observation and self-study and discipline as we're in the witness role of releasing the energy and then looking for ways to reframe it without spiritual bypass. All that's going to happen coming down the road, and I'm going to talk about that more next week. This week is really just an overview of you getting comfortable with your energy body, of knowing this interdependency between the different sheaths in our body, how everything, the Annamaya Kosha, the Pranamaya Kosha, the Manomaya Kosha, the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the Anandamaya Kosha, these sheaths, the layers of this onion that encapsulate the soul. And this is a remembrance that that God in which we seek is actually something that we awaken to. It already exists within us. It is our true nature. And mysticism is having a direct, is getting direct knowledge of the divine, of the supreme, of God through experience. So it's not something that happens later. It can happen at any given moment. And there are practices that help to ignite the energy within our body so that we can feel into this experience and have an experience of that bliss, that joy, that happiness, that compassion, that empathy, as it exists within us when we start to eradicate some of the blockages. And the blockages are all related to our shadow, our ego, and the stories that we are attached to, stories that have become part of our false identification. And next week we'll look at that. It's like, okay, something awful happened at 8. That's real, and it is true, and it has had an impact perhaps on you, on me, our whole life. It's affected our relationships, the choices that we've made, the way in which we self-soothe. But if I continue to identify myself with that moment, meaning I'm a victim, I am broken, I'm abused, whatever it might be, I am. I stay in this cycle that I'm tethered to my fear, I'm tethered to the shame, I'm tethered to the loneliness. These events are aspects of our journey, but they do not define the totality of our soul, of who we truly are. We're here to learn from these moments because we can't change what is, that those moments are real. The abandon, the fear, the shame, the rage, all of it, it's real. Our work is to feel into the feelings, is to identify the ways in which the samskaras are impacting our perception, build new samskaras, new habits, and then through a very deep process of self-understanding, and then, dare I say, forgiveness, but that takes a while, we're able to cut the cords from that identification and transcend it. So we're no longer carrying the baggage of it. Instead, we're walking along side by side with it. We've befriended it in our reality, but it doesn't define us, and we're not ruled by the emotional resonance of it. And it's also not impacting our relationships because we're not getting triggered and then time traveling to that moment. And if we do time travel, we're able to integrate much quicker. So this week is really looking at beginning to look at your relationship with mysticism, with God, what that means for you, the relationship that you have with God, the relationship that you have with your energetic body. We recognize that when the gross body dies, that the subtle body, that it does not perish. It accompanies the causal body until liberation. So there's the physical body, the astral body, the causal body. The astral body relates to the senses, and it includes the mind, the intellect, the subconscious. And in terms of the koshas, it relates to the pranamaya kosha, the manamaya kosha, and the vijnanamaya kosha. The astral body, the causal body, which is the seed body, this is what links us to our highest self. So that physical body, that's the annamaya kosha, that food body. There are all different kinds of practices, physical, mental, emotional, also related to the 8 limbs, all related to the 8 limbs, that corresponds with the different koshas that help bring us the essential awareness and practices to move the stagnant physical energy as well as mental blockages so that we can connect to that source. And in doing so, remember who we truly are. What else do I want to say before I start? Yeah, I think that's good. And the chakra system is the bridge that we use between the physical body and the subtle body that allows us then to connect with that causal body. All right, so I'm hoping that you're at least getting a glimpse about how these practices, beyond just getting stronger or more flexible, expand our energy and literally transforms the way in which our brain works and allows us to feel into these more transcendent experiences. So sit up tall, close your eyes. Ground yourself here for a moment. I'm going to take you through a moderately paced practice that riffs off of the poses that we did in Tuesday's posture lab. It will include a handstand at 8 point. And so be aware of a wall space that you can use for those of you who are going to join me in that. We're going to cover the whole of the body so that kind of like a detox, a little bit of a cleansing before we break down all those individual chakras. With your eyes closed, bring your awareness down to the very base of your spine, to the Muladhara chakra. The color is red. The element is earth. It is here in the perineum where we experience that rise of Kundalini energy, represented as a snake that coils around the base of the spine 3.5 times. From the base of the spine, there are the 3 main nadis or channels of energy: the Sushumna that lines the length of the spine, the Ida to the left, the Pingala to the right. These 2 nadis meet at the base, they separate, and then they crisscross over the Sushumna. And at their point of intersection is where a vortex of electromagnetic energy is formed, also known as chakra or wheel. And these chakras spin at a very particular rate and distribute prana through the body. The chakras become blocked because of trauma, because of life, because of experiences. As you ground yourself, lengthen the spine. Keep your eyes closed, but bring your awareness to the third eye center. That point of imagination and intuition. It is our perception and the constructs that we have received from the external world that influences our self-esteem as well then as our intuitive knowing. Allow the space to expand. And then place your palms into prayer. Calling in the God of our own unique understanding, we ask, may this practice be an opportunity to pull the veil back so that we can experience ourselves beyond our physical body and our five-sense reality, so that we can embrace mysticism and deepen our relationship with the God of our own understanding. We ask for clarity and insight. We ask for a willingness to look at all the ways in which we have rejected, denied, or abandoned our spiritual practice because of our education or religion or upbringing or superstition. We ask, may our spiritual life deepen and expand. May it connect our body with nature and with each other so that we can experience God in all moments, the light and the shadow, so that we can reinterpret the moments in our life through a lens of compassion and understanding, curiosity, being willing to see a bigger spiritual picture to why things happen as they do so that we can heal, so that we can transform the attachment that we have to our story and our false identification and open up to our truest nature, which is love. We ask, may this practice be blessed, and may the vibration that's cultivated from our bodies be offered outward into this planet as a unified prayer for peace. And then together we offer this blessing with one single Om. Take a very deep breath in. Release your hands and find your way into downward facing dog. Prioritize your breath, remembering that the breath is going to help to distribute the prana through the over 72,000 nadis throughout the whole of the body. The more you can increase the chi, the more grounded, energized, connected you'll feel, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Take a deep breath, stretch it back, and then walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, look up, hands to the hips, and press up to stand. Palms right at the heart. Excuse me. Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold all the way forward, relax your neck. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, step back, top of a push-up, knees down, toes back, lower your whole body to the earth. Inhale, cobra, lift your chest, press your feet, kneecaps engage up off the mat. Exhale, chest down, curl your toes under, and press back, downward dog. So we increase the pranic flow in the body through more vigorous exercise that includes Surya Namaskara A and B. This increase in respiration, circulation, blood flow also helps to move the prana through. Take a deep breath, stretch it back, and then walk or jump your feet to your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come on up all the way and reach. And exhale, palms at the heart. Again, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back, top of a push-up. Either put your knees on the floor or lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And exhale, downward dog, and breathe. So utilize alignment so that you can create as much space in the body as you can, bringing the prana into those congested areas. knowing that those areas are often congested because of a block within the chakra that corresponds with that particular body part. Take another breath, stretch back, and then walk or jump your feet to your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come on up all the way. And exhale, palms at the heart. One more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or jump, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Breathe. Step your right foot forward, stay on the ball of the back foot, come up onto the fingertips, bend your right knee, stacking the right knee over the right ankle. Press down into the fingers and into the feet, pull your chest forward, and breathe as we warm up the hips. I'm going to warm up both the hips, hamstrings, spine in this little sequence. Breathe deeply and find a focal point, your drishti, to keep you in present time. So reflect back to all the work that we've done in the trauma-informed practices, how to utilize drishti, observing the sensation, noticing all the ways that you dissociate from the practice or get reactive, noticing the attachment that you have to the poses that feel good, the ones that don't. Take a deep breath. Exhale, knee down. Left toes extend away from you. Chest lifts. Hold here as you sink your hips a little bit. Roll forward over the skin of that left knee. This propels the right knee forward over the toes. And then lift your chest. Back up a little bit. Keep your left hand down and inhale. The right arm reaches straight up. Look towards that right thumb. Both shoulders pull down the back. Reach through that right arm and breathe. Exhale, both hands down. Curl your back toes under. Lift that left knee up and step back, downward facing dog. Left foot forward, stay on the ball of the back foot. Step onto the fingertips, extend and lengthen the sternum forward. Rotate that right hip forward and now breathe deeply. Take a deep breath in. Exhale the right knee down, extend the right toes away, roll over the right kneecap a bit, lift the chest, sink your hips, and breathe into the sensation you feel deep within the hips related to the second chakra. Back off a little bit. Keep your right hand down. Inhale, that left arm reaches up. This moves us into that third chakra where the shoulders pull down the back as the sternum elongates forward. Gaze upward. And just breathe. Exhale, both hands down. Curl your back toes under. Lift the knee. Step back into downward dog. Take a breath here. Come down onto your knees. Come down onto your forearms. Interlace your fingers. Tuck your pinky under so you don't crush it. Elbows go right under the shoulders. And then buttocks lifts up for dolphin. Keep the knees bent. Push it down into the forearms. Keep your head up off the floor and then let your ears come along the inner upper arms. Descend the heels down. This is opening up into the fourth chakra, into the Anahata chakra, which affects the shoulders. Come down onto your knees, straighten the arms, extend the toes back, sit back onto your heels, lift your chest. Let your right ear come down towards your right shoulder. Let your left shoulder pull away from the left ear, feeling into the tension in the trapezius, that soft tissue between the shoulder and right up into the neck. So this is connecting us to the Visuddha chakra, right at the throat. Come back to neutral. Drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. Pull your right shoulder away. Breathe into any tension that you feel in that tissue. Bring your head back to neutral. You're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale with a lion's breath. Turn your palms up to the ceiling. Bring your thumb and your index finger together for Gyan Mudra. Take another deep breath in. And lion's breath. Close that mouth. And then hands down onto the ground. Inhale, arch. Press back into downward facing dog. Hold here for a moment. And downward dog, it's also an inversion, so the blood is flowing into the head. This stimulates both the Ajna chakra, the sixth chakra, as well as the very crown, Sahasrara. Take a deep breath and then walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, look up. Separate your feet hips width apart. Grab a hold of the big toes. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, fold, release your head and neck. So in the different asanas, they target the different channels of energy in the system, but they also channel all of them, but some are more obvious than the others. For example, this is first chakra. This is targeting the hamstrings, but it's also an inversion. And that's going to have an effect, like I just said before, on the 6th and 7th as well. So they're kind of interchangeable, just depending on where you want to apply your focus. An argument can also be made, because it's a deep forward bend, that it's also stimulating very directly into the 3rd chakra as well, because that impacts digestion. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Hands to the hips. Flat back to stand. Feet together. Take a moment. As you stand up, the blood drains and you're going to feel a shift in your subtle energy body. You want to begin to really tune into those shifts and what changes in your temperature of your body. Do you feel lightheaded? Is it a pleasurable feeling? Does it bring up feelings of unsteadiness or even fear? Keep getting curious. Surya Namaskar B. Bend your knees. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step or jump, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, Downward dog, right foot forward, back foot flat. Inhale, come on up all the way, arms reach. Exhale, both hands down. Step it back, lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, left foot forward, back foot flat. Inhale, press into the feet as you come all the way up. Exhale, both hands down. Step it back and lower. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog, and breathe. So in Surya Namaskara B and A, you're churning all of that energy, igniting the Ida, the Pingala, just allowing that to begin to stimulate and to move through all the chakras since they're all interconnected. Take another deep breath and stretch back, and then walk or jump your feet to your hands. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Bend your knees, inhale, arms reach. Exhale to stand, palms right at the heart. Let's go again. Bend your knees, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or jump, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, right foot forward, back foot flat. Inhale, press into the feet, bend the knee as the arms reach. Exhale, both hands down. Step it back and lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, left foot forward, back foot flat. Inhale, come on up all the way and reach. Exhale, both hands down. Go through your vinyasa. Hold downward dog when you get there. Take a deep breath and then walk or jump your feet to your hands. Inhale, look up. Separate your feet hips width apart. Hands come underneath your feet so you're standing on the palms. Inhale, look up. And exhale, fold. So throughout this practice, I'll continue just to let you know the different poses that we're doing and what particular chakra or chakras that they're targeting. This will be the only time up until the towards the end of the next 7 weeks that I'll be focusing on all the different chakras at one time. As we go forward, they'll be isolated, but it doesn't mean that all the different chakras aren't getting activated and stimulated. I'm just not talking about it. So this might help give you a little bit of insight as we go forward. Inhale, look up. Fingertips onto the floor. Hands to the hips. Flat back to stand. Come into Tadasana with the feet separated, hips width apart. And feel into the shift of energy. Feet together. Come into tree pose. So you're standing on that left foot. Right foot comes high up onto, I'm going to turn and face the camera here, just for some of you who need that. Left foot presses. The left toes are straight. That right foot presses into the inner left thigh. You can also use a wall if you need to. So because it's a balance pose and it's an externally rotated hip opener, this connects us most dynamically to our roots. So therefore, the first chakra, Muladhara. It's about balance, connection, foundation. The right foot presses into the thigh. Bring your arms up over your head. And then release. Switch. Left foot comes into that right thigh. Or of course you can put it anywhere between the ankle and up towards the groin. Find that focal point. Bring your arms up over your head. Try not to let the greater trochanter on that right side pop out. You want to draw it into the body. And then lift all four sides of the waist. And release. Palms right at the heart. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or jump, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Right foot forward, back foot flat. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Warrior two targets both the first as well as the second chakra. Press your right knee open and then straighten the right leg. As you press into the feet and draw the quads up, arms reach. Exhale, hinge at that right hip. Your right hand comes to the shin or the ankle, a block or onto the floor. Left arm straight up. Feet press, the tailbone draws in. You want to look upward towards the left hand and breathe. So now connect to where you're feeling into that tightness. Maybe in the hamstrings or the adductors, both related to that first chakra energy. Notice your reaction. So perhaps is the reaction just purely a physical reaction? Or when you get into this pose, could there be a correlation between what you might be holding on to within that first chakra related to family or home or safety or security or health, which could be the cause of that tension? Your avoidance to the pose might be not just because it's physically disturbing, but because it's challenging emotionally, bringing up stuff within the unconscious. And that shadow work is making the unconscious conscious. Look down. Inhale, slowly come up to stand. Turn your right foot in. Hands onto your hips. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold. Fingertips to the floor. Bring your feet a little closer. Grab a hold onto the big toes. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Relax the neck. So again, this goes back into that first chakra, but also the sixth and the seventh. In doing this kind of work that's about self-investigation, I try to find different ways to bring inversions into the practice because it helps to calm the central nervous system and the mind. It makes us a little less reactive. Inhale, look up, hands to the hips, flat back to stand. Step to the front of your mat, palms at the heart. Hold for a second. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step or jump, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Left foot forward, back foot flat. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Press that left knee open. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hinge at the hip, hand onto the shin, ankle, block, or floor. Right arm reaches. Tail in and extend. Breathe. Look down, lead with that right hand. Inhale to stand, turn your left foot in, hands onto the hips. Inhale, lift your chest, and exhale, fold all the way forward, hands onto the floor. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, fold, walk your hands between your legs a bit, press the elbows in, relax the head and neck. Perhaps for some of you, getting the head to drop onto the floor. This is stimulating into the Sahasrara chakra. Hard to say when you're upside down. The crown chakra. You can also put a block right underneath. Breathe. Try not to let the shoulders collapse. Pull them away from the floor. Inhale, look up, walk your hands forward, straighten the arms, hands to the hips, flat back to stand, step to the front of the mat, palms at the heart. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step or jump, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Right foot forward, back foot flat. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, the right forearm on top of the right thigh. Left hand to the hip. Either stay here or bring your right fingertips onto the floor to the outside of the right foot or onto a block. Press the right knee towards the right arm. Left arm up and then out over the ear. This is also first and second, but it also helps to get into the heart chakra with the opening of the chest and the extension of that left arm. Left arm up, look down, both hands down, step it back and lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, left foot forward, back foot flat. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, left forearm on the quad, right hand to the hip. Either stay here or left hand onto the floor, right arm up and out over the ear. Both shoulders lay down the back, spin the right chest open and breathe. Right arm up, look down, both hands down, step it back and lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog and breathe. At the end of the exhale, walk or jump your feet to your hands. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come on up all the way. Arms reach. And exhale, palms at the heart. I'm going to step to the front or the middle of the mat so that you can see. You're going to bend your knees a little bit. Standing on your left foot, you're going to bring your right leg around the left, and you're going to try to hook the foot, that right foot, around that left calf. You can also do this holding a wall. On Tuesday, I taught it facing the wall, so your hands were on the wall. Your arms for now, just bring over your head and draw the shoulders back, sink your hips. Slowly press up to stand and then release the arms down by your sides. Take a moment here. Standing on that right foot, bend your knees a little. Cross that left leg over the right. Try to wrap around if you can. So we're working for balance here. Also opening up the energy in the hips for a second. Arms reaching. Sink your hips a little deeper. Turn the pinkies in to broaden the back. And find a focal point and breathe. Press to stand. Palms right at the heart and then down by your sides. Take a breath. From here, you're going to grab your strap. Balancing on that left foot again, you're going to squeeze your right knee into your chest. You're going to take that strap and we're going to wrap it around the ball of the foot. And then doing your best that you can, straighten that right leg forward, holding the strap with both hands. You want to make sure that you're low down enough so you can pull the pinky toe side of the foot back. Now hold the strap with one hand, with your right hand, your left hand onto your hip. Lift it up higher. Take a deep breath in, and you're going to open that right leg to the right. Don't worry about how high it goes. You actually want to extend it straight from the hip. Look out over the left shoulder if you can. So just working on balance and externally rotation in the hips. Bring that leg back. Squeeze your right knee into your chest and release. Come into Tadasana, take a moment. Bend your knees again a little bit. Squeeze your left knee in. Take the strap low onto the ball of the foot. Well, more like in the middle of the ball of the foot. Then straighten that left leg out as best you can. Grab the strap with just the left hand, right hand to the hip. Make sure your bottom foot is straight. Take a deep breath and then open your left leg to the left. You undercut that heel slightly forward so that you're spinning that femur in. Chest lifts. That right rib cage pulls back. Look out over the right shoulder. Bring your left leg forward. Squeeze your left knee into your chest and release. Step back to the front of the mat. Palms at the heart. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or jump, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Step your right foot forward, stay on the ball of the back foot. Inhale to crescent. Palms at the heart. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hook your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. My right hand is on my right thigh right now, so I'm going to push down into the femur, rotate the torso and slide the shoulder down deeper. Then both palms come together in prayer. Or bring your left hand down, your right arm up, and breathe. This is going right into that third as well as the fourth chakra. And of course the fifth too. As soon as you turn the neck, you're engaging Visuddha. Exhale, both hands down. Step it back and lower. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Left foot forward, stay on the ball of the back foot. Inhale to crescent. Palms at the heart. Take a deep breath. Hook your right elbow. Use your left hand to press down so that you can open up the chest. Palms at the heart. Second level maybe, right hand down, left arm up. Take a deep breath in and exhale, both hands down. Step it back, lower. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. And breathe. At the end of the exhale, walk or jump your feet forward. Inhale, look up. Hands to the hips. Flat back to stand. Come into Tadasana. Take a breath. So from here, you're going to go to your wall space and we're going to work on handstands. If handstands is just not in your repertoire for now, you can, I'm hoping I don't go too far out of frame here. I may have to just kind of cheat it a little bit. Some of you can just use the wall and practice box on the wall in this direction. Or like we did yesterday, you put your hands onto the floor and you step up the wall. That's a way to practice, just developing some upper body strength. Or hands onto the floor, middle finger about 5 inches or so away from the wall. Maybe not that far, maybe more like 3 inches. Press down into the index finger, the bone underneath it. Push into the floor, and then you're gonna kick on up. And try not to knock my pictures over. You want to grow up the wall, take your tailbone in, flex the feet. Look between the arms. And then lower, come on down for everyone, but stay folded forward, grabbing your elbows. Relax the head and neck. I think I'm barely in frame. I can't get any closer though because I keep knocking into my plant, but I think you can all see me okay. So we're gonna do this a couple of times. We're gonna be upside down. This is gonna stimulate all the various chakras. Again, palms flat. One knee is bent, the other leg reaches away from you. I kick off of my non-dominant foot, my non-dominant foot is the one that's forward, and I use my dominant, my right side, to kick, because it's just got a little bit more power. You find a focal point between the hands, and then you kick up, tail in. I'm going to look between the arms, stretch, stitch the bottom ribs towards the frontal hips, and then flex the feet here and breathe. And come on down. Grab your elbows, relax your head and neck. And then one more time, palms flat. Set yourself up. Your gaze is between your hands for the moment. And then you kick up, flex the feet. Get your tailbone in, spin the thighs in, breathe. And then come on down, grab your elbows, relax your head and neck. Fingertips onto the floor. Inhale, look up. Hands to the hips. Flat back to stand. Come into Tadasana. And just take a moment to notice. Good. Okay. Palms at the heart. Oh, I'm going to need my bolster for this next one. I forgot my bolster. I'll have to use this. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step or jump, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Take a breath. Come down onto your knees. Sit back onto your heels. Take your bolster or your blankets. We're going to work bow the way that we did the other day. So you're going to come down onto your belly. Some of you might need a strap here. What I'm using right now isn't the best, but my bolster is in that closet. So it would mean I'd have to move everything to get in there. So I'm going to have to just make do. You're going to rest your belly and pelvis right onto the edge. Bend your knees. Grab your feet or use the strap. Either grab the top of the foot or you're going to flex your feet and then you're going to stretch back. So I'm going to keep the thighs on the ground. I'm using my shins to open up into the heart center, squeezing the shoulder blades in. And then release it. Hold here for a moment. You can just bring your arms forward. Press into your hands just to release any of the pressure off the belly. The reason why the Zafu that I'm using is a little bit more challenging is because of its height, because it's putting a lot of pressure into the abdomen itself and into the diaphragm, making it a little bit harder to breathe. Whereas if you're using blankets or the bolster, it's not, you see, I'm not resting. I wouldn't be resting as much of my belly onto it when I come up. So let's do it again. Bend your knees. Grab the tops of the feet or the ankles. Press back. Lift the chest. Gaze up. and then release. Hands onto the ground. Now push yourself back into child's pose. I'm going to put my hands up onto the bolster or whatever you're using. Relax your head and neck. Inhale, come up. Stand up onto your knees. You can use the bolster behind you, or you can use 2 blocks on either side of the feet, or you can curl your toes under. This is in preparation for camel pose. Opening up into the heart chakra, the throat, the 6th, the 7th. Take a deep breath in and exhale, drop it back. Hips forward, chest lifts, head and neck releases. Inhale, come on up, but onto the heels or between the heels. Take a moment and just feel that subtle body. Just the energy moving. Let's do this again. Come up onto the shins. Tail in, inhale, lift, and exhale, drop it back. Hips forward, head and neck releases. Inhale, come up, butt onto the heels. Palms turn up, Gyan Mudra. Take a deep breath in. Exhale with a lion's breath. Close your mouth. Allow your breath to return smooth. Notice your heartbeat, your temperature, any sensation, any reaction. Then release your hands. Shift your weight to the side. Come into Baddha Konasana. You can elevate yourself up onto your bolster or blankets. Roll the feet open. Take a deep breath in and exhale, fold. Close your eyes. You can even rest your head onto a block. Now, with your eyes closed, I'm going to give you right now some homework, and later on you can go back to the replay, rewind this to this part towards the end, and write them down if you need to. There are 6 realms. Actually, I want to preface this by saying I'm going to introduce you a little bit to the work. If you read my book, you would have met a character in my book, Mona Miller, who was my teacher for 11 years, someone I worked with very, very, very closely until her unfortunate death when she was 50 in a car accident. And Mona was a significant teacher, mentor, friend in my life who helped me to understand shadow work, as well as helped me to understand spiritual bypassing and how to unpack the narratives. Much of the work that I do that is intersected with the asana practice is because of the work that I did for so many years with Mona and the impact that that had on my life and on my body as someone who had experienced trauma and who had the tendency to over-understand, bypass big emotions because of dissociation and because of the habits that I was taught through yoga at the time of detachment, meaning big feeling comes up, you detach. Mona taught me actually befriend, go towards. But I had to learn how to meet the different realms within my humanity and become more in tune with my relationship to these different realms. And I want to share them with you for you to unpack a little bit at a different time. Just keep breathing into the sensation. The 6 realms that we work with are the spiritual realm, the mental realm, the emotional realm, the physical realm, the sexual realm, and the financial realm. And these realms bring up a lot of our shadow self and are worthy of investigation. So in your homework, the first one that you're going to unpack is you're going to write, spiritually, I believe, and then you fill in the blank. You just write down all that you believe. And then I feel, spiritually I feel, and write that down. And then I act. Spiritually I act. And just let your mind just kind of go. No one's reading this. There's no right or wrong. Just see what comes through. Then you will go to mentally, I think. Write down what you think that means. And then I feel, I act. Emotionally, I will. Fill out that blank. And this feels, and I act. And then physically, I treat myself. And write down, what does that mean? Physically, I treat myself. And this feels, and I act. And write, just fill in the blank. And then sexually, I believe. This feels, I act. And then finally, financially, I believe. Write down your connection with money, to the power dynamics that brings up. And then write, this feels, and then fill in the blank, and then I act. So spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, financially. Unpack those 6 realms for yourself to get some insight into what you believe, what you think, what you will, how you treat yourself, what you believe, how you've been taught. Inhale, come up. Bring your knees together. Extend your legs straight out in front of you. Reach your arms up over your head and exhale, fold all the way forward. Just take a couple of moments, couple of breaths. So just consider those six realms for a moment. We do not want to leave any aspect of ourselves behind. The Koshas teach us that, like the layers of an onion, like those nesting dolls, that it's all interdependent. The only thing that perishes when we go is the physical body. But that astral body, the causal body, it continues, taking with it all of the life lessons that it learned in this life. Because it was necessary. It was part of our karma. It was part of our spiritual maturation. But what we learned spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, financially, all of that influences our perception and our real ability to open ourselves to God, to having that direct experience, to mysticism. Inhale, come up and roll all the way out and lie flat on your backs. Lying flat. Just get as comfortable here on the floor as you can. Track your body. And notice, in this practice, different than the other practices that we've done, I'm starting to plant seeds and orient towards our emotional life. Remember, there's no separation between the mind and the body. The body knows, it remembers. And so when I say things, while simultaneously putting your body in positions, in poses that are associated with the things that I'm saying, and it's where we're holding the tension, the trauma, you might have a reaction. And that can include just checking out completely, or thinking about food, or something that your kid did or said, or the dust bunnies in the corner, or the sex you might one day have again, whatever it might be for you. All of this are ways in which we self-soothe or avoid that raga, that dvesha. Because the words are getting too close to the ouch. And we don't want to deal. It's our subconscious, it's our ego. It's like, yeah, no. And yet, liberation comes when we are in wholeness with all aspects of self, the light and the dark. And when we have judgment upon any aspect of the self, and we deny ourselves of our own humanity, staying in the judge or the critic, the denier, the rejecter, we then deny and reject who we are. And as a result, we can't truly love the perceived other. So the work is to find that wholeness, is to see the value even in the incomprehensible, the opportunity, even in the devastation or loss. Let everything go. Let your whole body surrender here upon the earth and rest. Bring your attention back to your breath. Inhale and reach your arms up over your head. And get a good stretch here. And squeeze your knees into your chest. Roll to your right side and press up into a seated position. Palms onto your lap. Eyes closed. And let's just sit together for a few moments in silence, tracking the body, observing the flow of energy within, being cognizant of the koshas, the annamaya kosha, the physical body, the pranamaya kosha, your energy body, the manamaya kosha, the mental and emotional body, the vijnanamaya kosha, the wisdom body, and then going deep into the core of your being, the anandamaya kosha, your bliss body, the Atman, which is Brahman, the seat of our soul. And then placing your palms into prayer. Together we take another very deep breath in. Exhale it out through the mouth. And we close this practice by giving thanks to God, to the powers that be, to our higher power, to the creative consciousness that dwells within and beyond. We give thanks for the miracles of these bodies, for the power of our pranic body, the curiosity of our mind and imagination, to the wisdom that flows through us when we get out of our own way, and for the potential of bliss. We ask to continue opening, exploring, letting go of the constructs that keep us bound to the here and now and to our five-sense reality, and instead we ask, may we continue to expand and open our heart and mind so that we may know you, God, and rest in that knowing that we are whole, beloved, and perfect manifestations of your divine grace. We ask, may there be peace within and peace within all. And then together we offer this blessing with one single Om. Take a deep breath in. Om. And lower your chin to your chest. Open your eyes. And inhale, come up. Thank you all so much for class. Namaste.